Let's talk about my book. This one is by far one of the most sophisticated and challenging projects that I've ever taken on as a writer. And the easiest way for me to explain it is this. When I wrote my first one, I was telling one story, one character, one point of view, one plot line to follow. And that is not the case for this one. I'm essentially telling three stories simultaneously. Essentially, the structure of this novel follows a father and a son, the two main protagonists of the story, and is interrupted briefly by archival anecdotes. And these anecdotes are used to paint historical context for the novel. And taking this experimental approach has taught me a lot of different things that I'm keeping in my toolkit as a writer. First among these is the importance of voice. Voice isn't just how a character speaks, it goes well beyond that. The voice that you give the characters drives the narrative and paints the era and adds that layer of world building for your reader. And a lot of what I've done to further cement the themes in the book is by having multiple voices saying the same thing. This is particularly important when you have something like an apocalypse, a world-ending event that leads to societal collapse and anarchy that is perpetual throughout a great expanse of time. You need the reader to understand how and why things persist the way that they do after a catastrophe, and it needs to resonate with you on a human level. Inversely, you need there to be a common sense of good and something for mankind to shoot for so that they can come out of that or have hope of coming out of a great calamity. I've also learned the importance of manipulating tone. You need to have tonal symmetry. And what I mean by that is you can't alter the reader's perspective too much with one point of view. You need to have a balance as you proceed through the story, and it's quite difficult. If you have one character who's very cynical, you have to make sure that they don't bring down the hopeful character and their plot line by crushing the reader's spirit. And lastly, pacing. My first book is definitely a space opera, high action, thriller paced novel. This one, with all of its elements in play, politics, betrayal, cynicism, hope, survival versus preservation, it's definitely helped me find the balance of getting the reader to turn the page to find out what happens next, and then to sit on a page and look up and think about what they just read. And I think that that's going to make it a more resonant piece of fiction, particularly for this spin on a genre that I think has gone